right? And so if I look at that, this is what this is actually doing is random.random method is just creating a numpy array of some uniformly distributed numbers between 0 and 1, so continuous uniform, right? So we're going to put this into a little data frame, and I'm just going to make up some names for the index. So I'm just going to call my data frame as such. So PD data frame, pass in my random data, and let's just make up some fun columns and some fun index names. So let's just do A. Actually, I don't have an imagination, so it's just going to be A, B, C, D. Index, and let's just go, what is going to be W, X, Y, Z. So V, X, Y, Z. Get where I'm going with this, right? So if I create the data frame,
What's the index?
EXYZ. It's just so I just create some arbitrary names here. It doesn't really.
And what does the keyword argument index? What's that for?
Because his question was if we had an index that wasn't integers, how would you still access that, right? So I'm just showing how to do that. It's like how would you shuffle it if it was not integers? So as you see, here's a non-standard index. These index, instead of being numbers, are now letters, right? So, you could think about this being some other arbitrary label, such as maybe, you have some employee identifier number or something else like that. But, I'm just using a simple 4x4 example. So I don't, because I think it keeps it simple, right? So you have a data frame here. And, my point is the following, for example. So if you were to just type df.index, you can see what I'm talking about, right? So the index here is actually still this iterable or this array-like object. So for example, if I ask for the 0th element in the index, it tells me P, right? And if I say df.lock at that index, it should give me the row corresponding to V. There it is. So with that being in mind, that kind of gets you to where we're really gonna go with this idea. So your idea is to now just create some random sample along that index. So let's just call indexes IXS. And we say np.random.randint. And let's just get two random numbers, some sampling 50% of the data in this case. The randint has a low and a high. So low should be 0, high should be 3. I believe my syntax is correct. If not, it'll yell at me in a second. Nope. All right, it's good. So if I just dump my indexes to console, it has to be without replacement. Leave the documentation. What is that going to be?
LOC is location, so that just gives you the whole
Right.
column.
Yes, it gives you, well, it gives you the row according to the name. Let's see, size not D type L. Oh, actually, this does not allow you to sample. This does not allow you to draw without replacement. I believe you have to numpy random without replacement. I forget the exact syntax.
Try random dot choice.
Yeah, there we go. Replace equals false. Thank you. There we go. So for if I use this, for example, we can actually even do it this way then. So not even like this. We should just be able to create a sample, or samp equals np.random.choice. My index, give me 2, and this is size, yep, and replace is equal to false. So if I look at my sample, dx, right? So that would work. Right, and then there's your randomly sampled data. So if you think about it that way, right, you could think about extending this to a larger example, but you kind of see where that's going.
Right.
We had
This
a
is
question in the chat about. Did you see it? I don't think you.
Oh no, I did not
Yeah, you
see it.
didn't see it. So I'll just read it off for you,
Oh,
and
sure.
anyone that knows it could probably answer it. So Osman Atam asked, "Is it possible to use Django on Jupyter Notebook?"
Django, I don't use Django, so I don't know. I assume
Okay.
it might be possible.
I use Django, and I think I just want to maybe just give more context because it's worth probably unpacking that question. So Django is for APIs, and then you would want to. The question is, can you use a Jupyter Notebook against an API? Um, I don't know if that makes sense, right? So a Jupyter Notebook can clearly import the Django Python libraries, the Python modules, and you can sort of use those in a notebook, no problem. But if you instead wanted to do some analysis with the Jupyter Notebook against the data in the API, you would probably just want to access the dataset somehow. So either open a connection to the database or dump out the database and load that into a data frame. So that's my answer for that.
I was just to jump in, I kind of read the question as like, is it possible to host a Django server right in a notebook? Which is like, I don't think you would ever want to like deploy that to like a production thing, but um maybe if you're just like want to like do scratch work and trying to do things fast. But I don't know if you like hit run in a code cell that's just like a never ending process, like a server
Yeah.
that's just waiting. Is that going to return an error? Will it be fine and you can just work on it locally?
I
Um,
think I've never tried it and it's probably inadvisable, but I would imagine that it would just be a long running process in a cell. So like if you did while one in a Python loop, while one pass, I think that would just be an infinite loop. And similarly, a Django server would probably just be a long running process in that cell. But honestly, it's more like trivia. It's like you would never want to do that, I think.
mm-hmm.
And so he
Probably easier
actually.
to just because you're gonna have to change everything if you're deploying to Linux anyway, so probably easier to just work in your terminal
Mhm.
or whatever.
Okay, and then Osman had a follow up while we were giving that explanation. I read a document to use .NET Core in Jupyter. I think he meant or read a document to use .NET Core in Jupyter. So the first half of that, or read a document. Yes, you can certainly read data into a notebook. That's what most of data scientists are doing. They're like loading in um, a database or CSV or some other data set and loading it into a data frame. But then the .NET Core in Jupyter, that you've completely lost me there. So .NET Core is a web framework for C Sharp and like um, companies that use Microsoft heavily. So I'm sure if there's like a Python library, you could probably load it into Jupyter and do something against that. But that's I feel like that's unclear. So if Osman, if you want more orientation, just speak up or drop like other questions. We have someone new, Sarah. If you want to introduce yourself, feel free. Otherwise, that's fine too. Some people don't are shy, so that's okay. Susan says off topic. Actually, Susan, you can talk, right? That's your data set.
Yeah, that's the data set I did not get a hold of, but yeah, that I tried to get a hold of, but I didn't. But that's MIT's hospital data set. It's I. It's just hard to find hospital data set. I'm not interested anymore. I'm interested in like environmental data sets now, but that's what I was looking at earlier. it might become more relevant now that we have all these coronavirus cases. People might be interested in looking at hospital data sets. You can look at that if you want. Yeah. But yeah, I was interested in applying machine learning to like critical care patients. Yeah.
What are you interested in now?
I'm not sure if I'm interested in machine learning anymore. I can share my screen. I told you that I saw like a horrible graph that inspired me to go back into doing things. So let me show you guys the horrible graph. Hold on a second.
Into doing what
Agree with
things?
me or disagree with me. You could maybe say like, "That's a wonderful graph. What are you talking about?"
Into doing what things?
So how do I share my screen? Let's see.
Susan, what do you mean into doing what things?
Into like finding the data myself and like confirming whether this is like actually accurate, meaning to like inspire me to like confirm it or like find my own answers. That's what I mean.
I kind of had like similar, like I was doing a machine learning project and I created a trained model and it was just like not accurate at all. And I was like, okay, now what? Like it's just a black box. How do I like change small things? And it's just like can be hard. But show us your horrible graph.
Okay, hold on. Let me show it to you guys. Or I can't. I don't know why it won't let me share. So I can't show it. But yeah, I'm looking at the horrible graph.
You go in the Hangouts in the upper right corner. There's an ellipsis, and you can choose share screen from there.
And then it says Chrome wants you to choose what you like to share. And so let me just here share the downloads. Let me open this again. So you guys do you see the graph?
Yeah.
Okay, so I thought this person was like droning on and on about this graph, and I'm like, what is this, Lawrence, the Whirlpool National Laboratory? I'm like, so
wait, I can't see it. I can't
see the graph either.
Downloads.
We can see your screen. We can see your file explorer right now.
Oh, how
I think you're only sharing that one downloads window.
Do you have multiple monitors or something?
No, I don't. Let's see. How do I share something else? That's what I meant. It didn't give me the option to full screen.
What happens if you go to like your Explorer? Like if you open up your downloads folder?
Yeah.
Or now
like,
that we have it open in the PDF, try to show that.
That's literally what we're looking at right now is your downloads folder.
Yeah, I did.
Now we see your mouse.
Yeah, and you don't see.
No.
Now you do not see the graph.
I think maybe we can just see this window. Because you can choose what to share. You can share your whole screen, or you can share a specific application.
Okay, let's try again.
And you might have just
try to unshare and then
You might have just shared just like the Finder, the Explorer.
Okay, cool. Share. Cool. Okay.
There you go.
So that's the horrible graph.
What is this?
So it's like what is trying to communicate is that this is our energy consumption here. So I guess it should add up to 100. And then I'm not sure if you can see my mouse. And then
yes,
right here is our need for electricity generation, and 0.34% comes from solar. I'm not sure. And then like most of it comes from coal right now. Most of it comes from natural gas, 28.5% of
petroleum at the bottom.
Or is it 10.8% goes to electricity generation? And then the electricity, these percentages go to residential. So it's just hard to tell what's going on, like what goes to what. And we're in New Jersey here, so I'm from New Jersey, I have to admit. And so like this is nice, but like New Jersey could be totally different, and we don't have where is the nuclear power plants? I'm not sure. I'm very confused when I look at this. I'm like, is this even accurate? Like I would like to like find data to like confirm whether this is accurate or not and redo this completely. Yeah. And this would be even more difficult because this is like your waste. This is saying like, I'm not sure. See, it's so difficult to say. 66.4% of all this energy is wasted, but like, where is the electricity part? Is it 24.9% of yeah, I don't know. So I can understand it's trying to say something very significant, but it's not. It's too confusing to be impactful. Yeah.
So you want to make like a web page?
I just want to know. I can't do anything that complex right now. I just want to recreate what this graph is trying to say and see it with other data. Yeah.
So do you have access to the dataset?
No, I have to like. That's where I have to like improvise. I have to like look for this, right? Look for how you estimate it. Maybe I can go to this Lawrence Liverpool
Yeah,
National
that's what I was
Laboratory and
thinking.
see how they
You know, you'd be
estimated it.
surprised. Like, maybe it's not allowed for like public distribution, but if you really are motivated, you can email them, like the people, the authors, and sometimes they'll help you out. They'll either give you a copy or something.
Okay, it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably start there because my experience with finding data on my own doesn't really work that well. So yeah, that's what I'm interested in now.
hmm So
I think it's
what are your next
a cool
steps?
project.
I guess your idea, just email them, is probably the easiest first. Right now, I took another internship project having to do with like finding invasive species, and I'm all the parks in New Jersey are closed, so I can't work on that any further because I have to actually physically go to the park
hmm
and take a picture of the plant and like upload it to like inatural.org with com inatural app, which is like pretty good. It uses like machine learning to like identify the plant, but identifies it wrong sometimes. So I'm just trying to do like basic data. So I'm not gonna open a Python notebook right now or anything like that.
Okay. The Oh, are you part of our Slack?
No, I don't think so.
If you share your email, I'll invite you.
Okay, thanks.
We used to have a self-inviter thing, but we had to shut it down because of spammers.
Oh, okay, yeah. That was all. I'll email them, but I doubt they're gonna get back to me, but I'll still email them.
Hey, you have to be positive. You'd be
Yes.
surprised.
Yeah, it's true.
A lot of times, even like PDFs, like the if you email the authors, like if it's behind like a research gate, like a paywall, um, the authors will often just like email you a copy for free because they're not making money off that. Like all those research gate things, like they don't the money they collect doesn't even go to them. It's a messed up
Yeah, but
system.
Susan, were you saying it's a horrible graph because it's like confusing, hard to read, or because it shows like all of our energy comes from non-renewable, just like burning stuff?
Oh, no. I'm saying because it's hard to read. I'm not saying like saying
Okay.
horrible things about our use of energy yet. But
Because that too, like over 90% was just like burning fuel, right?
but it does. But you don't see nuclear in there. You don't see other things that you expect to be in
I thought
there.
there
So,
was. The red one was nuclear, wasn't it?
oh, was it? Oh yeah, it is. Okay, you're right. Okay, I'm not good at my eyes.
What, like
I'm not
wind?
good. Yeah. You saw it though, yeah. So that's good. I can email them and I won't be like, where's nuclear? They'll be like, you're just blind.
Yeah. Can you please read the graph? We spent a lot of time making it.
Yeah, and then look at it closer.
We it was like 1,000 hours in MS Paint.
It probably was. It probably took like a long time. So I'll be polite. I won't be so like accusatory as I was on this phone call.
So Jim, what are you working on?
Um, I'm kind of just going through this data visualization workshop. Hopefully, I'll get to the actual plotting charts and stuff soon.
Do you want to show us some of it?
Um, I could. I'm in like the. I'll share. I mean, I'm in this quiz right now, which is like not that interesting. But these are just so just to kind of go through the different chapters if
So
you
you're
guys are
reading a
interested.
book. The
Yeah,
data visualization
it's like an
workshop.
online book. And chapter 1 was pretty much about just like numpy and pandas a little bit, and
Isn't
just
this
like
is pretty related to what Susan was talking about, right? Well, Susan, you just wanted to verify. You didn't want to like recreate a visualization. Your mic is off.
well, that was part of it, right? Recreate the
I might want to be inspired to recreate it if I get the data. Yeah.
and they could
But,
have even created that like programmatically somehow, like put the data in and then it just spits out that chart.
oh, you're saying it's easy to recreate?
I mean, I don't think it's easy, but it could be possible.
I mean, I feel like even like a decision tree might be able to recreate it better. It might be like just
Yeah,
not better, but just like more easier to understand. Yeah.
possibly, yeah.
I think we could look into like there's another member of the Slack. I already sent you the invite, Susan. But there's like another person on the Slack asking a lot about Plotly and Dash apps, and those are really great for creating like these web-based visualizations.
Dash apps. I've never heard of that one.
I think it's called Dash apps and Plotly apps.
Can you put an invite for the Slack in the chat?
It doesn't work that way. So we had a lot of problems with spammers. So like now it's now you have to be invited. So if you share your email, I'll send it to you directly.
Can I put my? How can I share my email with you without putting it in the chat?
You can email me your email. So here's my email. There you go. Email me your email and I'll invite you to Slack.
But like chapter 2 should be all about plots. I guess this is still the quiz from I was just like going through doing these like practicing in a Jupyter notebook, just like these random things that they're asking. But I really want to get to this like actually plotting stuff. Matplotlib, have any of you guys ever used that?
Yeah, that's like the de facto plotting library in Python.
Okay.
In the Python world.
So that would be cool too.
What type of internet connection are you on? Because like the video is really grainy.
Oh really? Yeah, my parents don't have that great internet. I'm in like South Jersey right now. I had to get away from.
Oh, I thought you were in the city.
No, man, I heard it's crazy there. Like
It is pretty crazy.
the epicenter.
Yep.
I've been down here for like 3 weeks now.
All right.
Just hiding out. Are you still there in Brooklyn?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm not leaving.
Man.
Just cover your
Look
mouth,
outside.
you know? Just like wear a mask and you'll be good.
Yeah. Seaborn? Is that like another plotting?
Yeah, so like Seaborn is supposed to be like a theme. It's like it's a layer on top of Matplotlib and it interops with it, but it has some extra charts and it also comes with like some nice some really good looking themes for the charts. So usually you import like Seaborn to make you know, like if you're gonna write a publication, if you're gonna write a research paper or something, you're gonna want to have like attractive charts. Seaborn makes that a little bit easier.
Cool, yeah. And then geospatial, I think is pretty cool, like plotting stuff on a map. You know, like for this whole coronavirus thing, it would be cool to just like plot cases or deaths and things like for each state and just have it nicely all in front of you. Or even like the whole world too, you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Bokeh, is that how you say it?
Bokeh?
Okay.
I don't know what that is. Maybe we can read about it. What is that?
I've definitely heard about this, but it says making things interactive. So I guess maybe it's editing.
Yeah, that sounds like a web page, like a web-based tool. Or it'll allow you to make like a little web page, like a slider, you know?
Yeah, that's actually something that I want to do. And I've seen other really cool, just like where it's like charts, that's like a video, where it's like a video of the chart changing over time. And then sometimes there's like a little slider that you can grab it and like scroll through time. It's pretty cool.
Rashad, it says you're already in the workspace. You're already in Kaggle New York City.
Oh, let me.
You might just need to dig for the invite.
Yes, thank you.
All right, so you're going through this book. Do you need any help with it, or?
I probably will as I go through it. I mean, I'm still just like barely getting into chapter 2, so.
Okay.
Um,
I like the little programming question you had about reading the data set from GitHub and loading it into a data frame.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a cute little challenge. I solved it in a couple minutes.
Yeah, no, that was awesome that you, because this course, like if you go into, I guess the onboarding, they tell you to just kind of download it locally and use Jupyter. But there's like another Python course where I found out about the collab in Google Drive.